welcome back to another deck profile video. In today's video we are covering the X Antibody lineup for the Sakuyamon deck. This only covers cards between BT18, BT19 and the EX08 line. Ultimately I know there's more support coming out in the next set, which features the notorious Tamers loop. I will not be building that sadly, however. So let's dive straight into this deck. Digi-Egg wise, we're running just 4 Viximon from EX2. It's your turn, inherited effects once per turn, but when you use an option card with a cost of 2 or more, you draw 1 card. I still think this is the egg of choice for this deck, and I still believe it will be the same choice of egg for the deck when it gets the updated support in BT20. But yeah, just 4 eggs for the deck in total. These are the 4 that we're running. Rookies wise, to start with, we're running the BT17 Renamon. We're running a full play set. It's on play. You reveal the top 3 cards of the deck. You add 1 Digimon card with Cubimon, Taomon, or Sakuyamon in their name, and 1 Rika, or 1 option card with a cost of 2 or more. You add those cards to the hand, the rest go to the bottom of the deck. It's inherited. Is ultimately when you use an option card, one of your opponent's Digimon gets security attack -1. The next set of Renamons that we're running is the EX2 version, and this one reveals the top 4 cards of the deck. Similarly, you can add 1 card with the relevant name to your hand, as well as 1 Rika. It doesn't search for the option cards, however. It's inherited in this case is a your turn once per turn, but when you use an option card with a cost of 2 or more, you gain 1 memory. It's just a solid 4 of to have in this deck. The next rookies that we're running are the new Renamon X Antibody from EX8. It's got both an on-play and when Digivolving effect, which ultimately you just return 1 option card with a plugin in its name from your trash back to your hand. Its inherited effect is a your turn once per turn, but when you use an option card with a cost of 2 or more, one of your opponent's Digimon gets -2000 EP for the turn. It's just a good 2 off to have. I don't think you need any more than this, really. Next up, we have our champion. So I'm running a 2 of Cubimon from BT10. It's got a when Digivolving effect, but you may activate 1 of the following effects. Either return 1 option card with plugin in its name from your trash to your hand, or you can trash an option card with plugin in its name from your hand, and you draw 2 cards. I just think this is a solid 2 off to have, especially for the second effect, because ultimately you're still going to get those option cards at a later date in the game. Next up, we have Cubimon from BT17. This is when Digivolving. If you don't have Rika in play, then you can play 1 from your hand without paying the cost. Its inherited effects ultimately, again, when you use an option card with a cost of 2 or more, one of your opponent's Digimon gains security attack -1 until the end of their turn. So again, just a good 2 off to have. Sadly, there is an updated version of this card coming out in BT20, which will easily replace this. I'm then running a 4 of Wizardmon from BT18, mainly for its inherited effect, but it has a when Digivolving effect. By trashing your top security card, you draw 1 card and you gain 1 memory. Its inherited effect is ultimately when this yellow Digimon with the data trait would leave the battle area by your opponent's effects, you can trash the top card of your security and then it doesn't leave. It's a once per turn effect, but it's a good protection for this deck. The last 2 champions we're running is Cubimon from EX2. When Digivolving, reveal the top 3 cards of the deck. You add 1 option card with plugin in its name among them, and then ultimately bottom deck the rest. The inherited effect is a your turn once per turn, but when you use an option card with a cost of 2 or more, one of your opponent's Digimon gets -2000 EP for the turn. Again, we're kind of splitting the Cubimons evenly, just because they all have relevancy to this deck rather. So next up, we have a full playset of Taomon from BT17. It comes with Barrier. When Digivolving, you may use an option card that either has plugin in its name or is yellow, and that cost is reduced by 2. Similarly, it has the same inherited effect as long as you have Sakuyamon in name, and that inherited effect alone is a when attacking once per turn. But yeah, this is a solid 4 off to have, especially to climb the levels very quickly. The next free off we're running is the EX2 Talmon. Again, when Digivolving, in this case you'll play a Rika from your hand without paying the cost, whether you have one in play or not already. So you can keep doing this with this card. Its inherited effects, again, very similar. Use an option card of a cost of 2 or more. One of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 2000 DP for the turn. But it's just a good free off to have to make sure that you can get the Tamers out for no cost. Next up, our Mega Level Digimon. I'm running a 2-off of Maid Mode from BT10. It's when Digivolving effect, you can play either a plug-in card or a yellow option card with a cost of 5 or less from your hand without meeting the colour requirement or paying the cost. If you use an option card using the effect, then that will then go on top of your security stack. It also comes with a when attacking effect, ultimately Digivolving into a Sakuyamon for just a cost of 1. So moving on to Sakuyamon in BT17, she comes with Barrier. When Digivolving, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 6000 DP, and then you can use an option card that's a cost of 5 or less and includes the plugin in name or is yellow in colour without paying the cost. It's your turn. Once per turn effect is ultimately if you use an option card with a cost of 2 or more, then until the end of your opponent's turn, this Digimon cannot be returned to the hand or deck. Moving on to EX2 Sakuyamon now. So when Digivolving, you would unsuspend one of your Digimon, and then for each of the Tamers that you have in play, you can return an option card with plugin in name from your trash back to your hand. Additionally, she comes with a Your Turn effect, which in this case, if you use an option card with a cost of 2 or more, you give one of your opponent's Digimon minus 3000 DP. Noted, that's not a once per turn effect, so you can keep doing that. Moving on to EX8 Sakuyamon X Antibody. I'm running a 2-off. When Digivolving, if it's got Sakuyamon or X Antibody in its sources, you can play an Uka token, which is a 9000 DP yellow Digimon with Rush. It's your turn. Once per turn effect is ultimately if one of your Digimon attacks, you may use a single colour option card from your hand with a cost of 5 or less, and if you ended up using an option card using that effect, you can unsuspend one of your Digimon. Moving on to our level 7s, I'm running 1 Shine Greymon Burst Mode Ace. It's both on play and when Digivolving, you get to play a Tamer from your hand, and then you can choose one of your opponent's Digimon and give it minus 5000 DP for each Tamer that you have in play. Additionally, it comes with a when attacking effect, but if you suspend up to 2 of your Tamer cards, for each one, this Digimon gains security attack +1 for the turn. So it's both a defensive card and aggressive. The next one I'm running is naturally Shine Greymon Ruin Mode. When Digivolving and on deletion, until the end of your opponent's turn, all of their Digimon get minus 5000 DP, which is a blanket effect. Its end of attack is you delete this Digimon and one of your opponent's Digimon, then you recover +1, and then if you have a Tamer in play, you can hatch 1 Digi-Egg to an empty space in the breeding area. It's just a solid one-off to have in this deck. It's just really good. In terms of Tamers, I'm only running 1 of Rika from BT17. Start of main phase, if your opponent has a Digimon, you gain 1 memory. Its main effect, you ultimately use Cubimon and Talmon from your trash, as well as this Tamer. You'll tuck all 3 underneath your Renamon and then warp Digivolve into a Sakuyamon in your hand for its Digivolution cost of 4, but you ignore its Digivolution requirements. Naturally, if it's Digivolved by that effect, you can return an option card to your hand. The next 4 that we're running is naturally Rika from EX2. She's the memory setter for this deck. Additionally, the Your Turn effect, whenever you attack with a Renamon, Cubimon, Talmon, or Sakuyamon in their name, you can suspend the Tamer to use an option card with plugin in its name from your hand without paying the cost. It goes so well with this deck, and it still does. And just having a 4-off makes sure that you definitely have this in play to use. Next up, we have our option cards. In this case, I'm running a 1-off of Offensive Plugin A from EX2. This will give one of your Digimon security attack +1 for the turn, and its security effect is ultimately you reveal the top 3 cards of the deck. You add 1 Tamer card among them, and you bottom deck the rest. Then you would add this card to your hand. There is a lot of 1-offs in regards to the plugin cards, but ultimately they will really come down to your preference at locals. but this is just for me for now. It will always chop and change. The next one I'm running, however, is High Speed Plug-in D, which gives one of your Digimon jamming, and it cannot be blocked by your opponent's Digimon. Ultimately, this card goes hand in hand with the offensive card. Security-wise, it draws one card, and then you add this card to your hand. But yeah, definitely hand in hand with the offensive card. For multiple checks with jamming, it's always very dangerous for your opponent. The next one we're running is a free of Digivolution Plug-in S. It's still the best plug-in card for this deck, but the main effect is you draw one card, then you may Digivolve one of your Digimon into a Digimon card in your hand that can Digivolve for a Digivolution cost of 3 or less without paying its Digivolution cost. Security effect-wise, we reveal the top 3 cards of the deck and you add one Digimon card among them to your hand instead, and then you add this card to your hand. It's good for jumping the levels. The next one I'm running is Pause Plug-in P. I still very much like this card, but until the end of your opponent's turn, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 6,000 EP, and that Digimon's when Digivolving effects do not activate. Security-wise, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 6,000 EP for the turn, and then you would add this card to your hand. I did have more in this deck, however, I think one is still good, but ultimately, again, it comes down to your preference. And last but not least, Yellow Scramble. Running a 2-of, if you Digivolve into a yellow Digimon, you can reduce its cost by 3. And again, if your opponent has a Digimon at the start of your turn, activate delay, return one yellow Digimon card from your trash to the top of your deck, then play a yellow Digimon card with 2,000 DP or less, as long as you don't have any Digimon. Security effect wise, you get to play the yellow Digimon card with 2,000 DP or less from your trash, then you add this card to hand. But that's it. That's our 50 card deck. Here's the deck profile on the screen. As always, this deck is really good fun to play, and it's always chopping and changing with the plug-in cards depending on your locals preference or your competition preference. But as always, thank you very much for watching the video. Like the video if you agree with the profile, or otherwise if you disagree with it or have any tips, leave a comment below and subscribe to the channel. Take care.